Let's pick up on the artisanal mining story, and this time let's look at it from the perspective of the National Association of Artisanal Miners. And spokesperson Zethu Hlatshwayo joins me. Zethu, good evening to you and thank you for your time. First, tell us a little bit about your organization.
No, thank you very much. Good evening to the viewers at home. NAM is a National Association of Artisanal Miners. It's an association of men and women that are working on the ground, to put on the table using rudimentary materials such as your pick and shovels, to dig on the ground for the minerals that are still remaining on the mines. So our vision is to mobilize and organize artisanal miners into business units so that they can be able to be regulated by the recent developments. So also part of our work is to go to the communities to create an awareness about artisanal mining and the role that artisanal mining is playing in South Africa on its economy and the potential that it's got.
Yeah. Just clarify me, Zethu, before we go on further. This organization, your organization, is a recognized organization, and the artisanal mining activities that you are undertaking are legal.
Yes, you understand. You know that according to the policy has just been developed now to regulate this sector. So part of the reason why we formed NAM was to advocate for the regulation, formalization, and also legalization of artisanal mining in South Africa. So currently, under the current regime, artisanal mining is classified as illegal, even though we are not doing an illegal work, so to speak, like stealing or killing someone to dig on the minerals that we are surviving on.
Zethu, the Mineral Resources Ministry published an artisanal and small-scale mining policy in March. We touched on it in an earlier interview this evening, under which permits will be issued only to South Africans or permanent citizens. And what it seeks to do is to criminalize the current operators, who we know as Zamazamas, many of whom hail from Lesotho and Zimbabwe, working on these mines that are designated as derelict and ownerless. I want to hear from you how this policy will assist in curbing this crisis we are facing now.
Yeah, no, thank you very much. I think the DMRE did do a presentation to us to say they have done a research in various African countries like your Ghana and other countries, where they were looking at the countries that have formalized artisanal mining. And what was found out by the DMRE was that in all of the countries that the research that they've done on, all those countries have only given permits to their own citizens in those countries, of which we have also made a submissions as NAM and our partners, LRC, and benchmark foundations, to say that anyone that has got a legal permit to be in South Africa must be given a chance, so long as they are willing to comply with the laws of this country and they can be able to be taxed like everyone else, then they can be able to participate meaningfully. So that was our submission.
I want to hear some of the ideas, Zethu, you and your organization have around the unexploited potential of unused mining land. How would that, what would that look like?
Yeah, you see, if we look at it as an organization alone, it would be a bit difficult. But we are looking at what we are proposing rather is that we have a roundtable discussion, an honest and a frank discussion with the big mining companies that used to own those mines and the government as the custodians of the mineral resources and energy of this country, and NAM, especially those affected and interested in those mines. So if you can have that platform, we can be able to look at those mines and see those that still have a potential and repurpose those mines to be artisanal mining zones. That will require us to be first registered as entities or cooperatives. So we have done that with guys such as Kosh in artisanal miners in Northwest. So these are some of the ideas that once you are legal entities, we can be able working in partnership, because you understand the experience gap between your formal your large scale mining and artisanal mining, and then we can be able also to bring in the expertise. Some of the graduates, we have a lot of young people that are educated, they have degrees and diplomas, they are seated at home. Artisanal mining, especially now, we are also calling upon them, because we have experts that we're working with. We're working with geologists such as Zethu Hlatshwayo and some of the other experts that we're working with. There's so many of them. So we can be able to utilize the young people so that they can help. You know that most of artisanal miners, the level of education is very low. So we can be able to use those expertise from those young people. And we can also utilize the experience that is held by your formal miners that are being retrenched by these big mining companies. And then if we have, especially universities are very much important, such as Ponsoli Dwaba from Wits University. So if we have all those experts at the round table, at a conducive environment, we can be able to have a thriving small-scale and artisanal mining sector.
It sounds like you've really given a great deal of thought. And just to share with our viewers, I think artisanal mining then runs up, I think it has a threshold of R1 million, you know, the profit or revenue that you'd make out of it. And small-scale mining goes all the way up to 10 million rand. Is my understanding correct?
Yeah, that is what the police has laid out. But we are still going to be also putting our inputs there, because you understand with the minerals we are working with, you know, someone can pick a stone, just one stone, worth 1.2 million rands. So what do we say about that? Because that will be just one individual in a mine that has got about maybe, let's say, 800 people. So maybe that would be also putting a level or a cap, you know, and maybe restricting some of the operations that we are doing. But it's what has been put forward.
All right. So we're almost out of time, but I really want you to answer as briefly as you can this final question, Zethu, around, you know, at the very beginning you talked to me about, you know, men and women with their picks and their it sounds like rudimentary instruments that you're using to mine the land. You can certainly do with a lot more formalized support. How would you like to see government, you know, support you, particularly on, you know, on these activities that you're currently embarking on? And his picture froze, unfortunately. So we're going to leave it there with Zethu Hlatshwayo. He's the National Association of Artisanal Miners spokesperson.